Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's dive right in. For years, the Ethereum virtual machine, the EVM, has basically been the undisputed gold standard for decentralized apps. But let's be honest, that standard has hit a massive architectural brick wall. Enter Monad. This is a high-performance Layer 1 blockchain built by some serious jump trading veterans, and they are fundamentally rewriting the EVM from the ground up. We're not talking about some minor incremental update here. This is a highly engineered paradigm shift designed to completely obliterate the scalability trilemma, all without fracturing the developer ecosystem we already have.
I mean, we've all felt the bottleneck of traditional EVM blockchains, haven't we? You've definitely experienced those crazy gas fees and sluggish confirmation times. Honestly, sometimes interacting with decentralized finance feels a bit like browsing the early internet on a dial-up connection. And the root cause for this? It's entirely structural. Traditional EVM architectures are strictly sequential. They force transactions to be processed agonizingly, one by single one. The whole network basically can only move as fast as its single narrowest processing lane.
But what if you didn't have to abandon the ecosystem just to get some decent speed? Think about it. What if you could keep literally everything you already love about Ethereum? The wallets, the massive pool of developers, that battle-tested security, but you supercharge the performance by a staggering factor of 200. Well, that is exactly what Monad delivers. We're talking 10,000 transactions per second, without breaking the bank or forcing anyone to learn an entirely new programming language. To really understand how this huge leap is possible, we need a rapid-fire teardown of its core tech. Let's start with Pillar 1, parallel execution. This is exactly where that sequential bottleneck we just talked about gets completely dismantled. Think of traditional blockchains like a single-lane grocery store checkout. Even if you're just buying a single loaf of bread, you're stuck waiting in this congested line right behind someone with 3 full carts. The system just lacks the awareness to let you pass. Monad completely changes the game here. Instead of waiting, it simultaneously opens thousands of parallel checkout lanes at once, processing a massive volume of distinct actions concurrently. Now, how they actually achieve this is fascinating. They use a sophisticated mechanism called optimistic concurrency control. See, rather than checking for conflicts up front, which, slows everything to a crawl, Monad runs transactions simultaneously across all available CPU cores. It just assumes optimism. It processes an independent transaction, like you sending a token to a friend, at the exact same time as someone else is swapping on a DEX. It only re-executes a transaction if a specific conflict is actually detected later on, like 2 people trying to spend the exact same dollar. So this gets you massive parallel data processing, but you still entirely preserve the strict, necessary order of the blockchain. But processing speed is pretty much useless if your data storage is a traffic jam. That brings us to our next massive innovations, Pillars 2 and 3, MonadDB and Asynchronous Execution.
Here's a cold, hard reality of computer science. If you can't access data fast, you can't process it fast. Legacy blockchains rely on generic databases, which creates massive delays when verifying something as simple as a wallet balance. MonadDB actually solves this by being a custom-built native database designed specifically for the Merkle-Patricia trie, which is Ethereum's highly complex native filing system. By completely bypassing standard operating systems to talk directly to your solid-state drive, it enables multiple simultaneous data reads without that traditional bottleneck.
Then we pair that highly optimized database with asynchronous execution. In traditional Ethereum, nodes have to finish doing all the math for a block before they can even agree that it's valid. It's kind of like a chef refusing to take the next ticket until they've completely finished washing the dishes from the last order. Monad decouples these tasks into 2 completely distinct lanes. First, the consensus lane agrees on the order of transactions. Then, a slightly lagged execution lane actually does the math. This ensures the CPU is literally never idle. The chef is always cooking, and the network just hums along at absolute maximum capacity. So, what happens when you stack these 3 technological pillars together? Let's dive into Section 3, the metrics, and look at this next-level performance. Let me tell you, the raw performance numbers here are absolutely in another league. Legacy Ethereum crawls at a very modest 15 to 30 transactions per second. And let's be real, a rate like that simply cannot support global mass-market applications. Monad, on the other hand, is engineered from the ground up to sustain a blistering 10,000 transactions per second. It brings true enterprise-grade throughput directly to the decentralized web. And it's not just about raw volume, it's about how the network actually feels to the end user. The responsiveness is immediate. Monad boasts a crazy 400 millisecond block time. Just compare that to Ethereum's 12-second block time.
This means applications built on Monad will feel just as seamless and instantaneous as centralized Web 2 applications. It's a fundamental upgrade to the whole user experience. Furthermore, we see a deterministic 800 millisecond finality. To put that into perspective, in traditional Ethereum, you might find yourself waiting up to 13 minutes to know a transaction is truly irreversible and can't be reorganized. Monad completely obliterates that wait, locking in transactions globally in under a single second. That speed is absolutely critical for things like high-frequency trading, gaming, and complex decentralized finance operations. But here is the absolute masterstroke of Monad's engineering. Despite delivering these crazy Solana-level speeds and near instant finality, it remains 100% bytecode compatible with the Ethereum EVM. This is a massive deal. It means flagship, multi-billion-dollar applications like Uniswap or Curve can migrate their smart contracts directly over to Monad with zero code changes. Developers don't have to learn Rust, they don't have to learn Move, they deploy the exact same Solidity code, but suddenly it's running 200 times faster. Let's move to our final section, Section 4, the ecosystem and tokenomics, to see how this translates into market traction. Because at the end of the day, the best technology in the world means absolutely nothing without an economy backing it up. The entire network is fueled by its native utility token, $MON, which powers gas fees and staking. Out of an initial supply of 100 billion, a massive 49.4% is unlocked on day one. This aggressive community unlock is highly strategic. It completely guarantees a decentralized start and puts power directly into the hands of users and builders right out of the gate. And this massive architectural potential has already ignited a really heavy-hitting ecosystem of integrations. We aren't just talking about tiny pilot projects here. Monad is seamlessly integrating institutional-grade assets like Coinbase's wrapped Bitcoin and even real-world assets like Korean treasury bonds. On top of that, everyday consumer tools like the MetaMask Money Account are being integrated to make user onboarding completely frictionless. They are truly laying the infrastructure for serious global capital. Which brings us to the ultimate question of this explainer. With its deep engineering roots, its custom database, and its unique ability to fundamentally scale the EVM without forcing developers to learn new languages, Monad has really positioned itself as an inescapable force in the market. So I'll leave you with this provocative thought to consider. As the historical technical barriers of the EVM are finally shattered, will Monad's parallel execution be the ultimate catalyst that finally brings a billion users on-chain?